receive it. If you think it and believe it and you speak it. If you think it and believe it and decree it. Power mouth.
Hey Power Mouths, this is your personal life speaker, Glenna Oyajo, host of Power Mouth, your motivational platform that believes in speaking life to enrich life. I'm a wife, a mother, the daughter of the Most High. I'm also a life coach, motivational speaker, aka life speaker, as well as an author of self-help motivational books that are purposed to progress anyone who is committed to change. I am a top graduate in international business studies and a first-class encourager to all who needs encouragement. I am Power Mouth. Hey Power Mouths, thank you for joining me, Glenna Oyajo, your personal life speaker. Today is episode 6, and what have I got for you today? Now, I think I did mention it in the last episode. But the topic for today is shame on you. Yes, shame on you. So I'm going to just talk a bit more about that, okay? Because I don't want nobody to feel ashamed. I don't want nobody to have no shame on them, okay? You may be accustomed to, hearing that or being told that when you were younger, maybe even in your adulthood, when somebody said shame on you. But we're not really talking about that today. We are talking about, experiences that maybe we've gone through, that we've had, and, it has had shame attached to it. And therefore the shame is still on us. Okay, it may still be there. That is what we are talking about in this episode. So please do get your cup of tea, get your coffee, whatever you're drinking, something light, and come and chill with me as we speak about shame on you. Now, as always, you know that we are about speaking life, okay? So we will speak about the topics that do affect us as people in life. There's no kind of sugar coating, candy coating, whatever you want to call it. We talk about real life things here, things that stop us from progressing, things that can really lay heavy upon us in our lives, that stop us from even appreciating ourselves and appreciating the journey that God wants to take us on. So this is why you will hear most of my topics, they are real topics dealing with real situations, real issues that people are going through. Why? Because we are real people. And, it's really time that, we get down to talking about real stuff so that we can move forward in life. Okay, so shame. Who likes that word? Who even wants that word to be associated with them? I mean, there are different kinds of shames. You could be walking on a road, and I'm sure that it has happened to most of us, okay? You're walking on a road and there is like a dip in the pavement, a cracked pavement or something there, and you nearly drop on the floor, and you kind of get yourself together and you continue walking, and it's shameful. You feel shame because somebody was watching. That somebody from their car probably, burst out laughing because they see that you nearly fell down. Okay, that's shameful, yes, but I don't believe that is the kind of shame that will stop you or stop me from taking big opportunities in life, from going forward, from making life decisions which really would be favourable in our lives. Now, the kind of shame that I'm talking about is, we have things in our past, okay? There are things that, some of us have done, things that we may have said, some of our actions, our words, and we are not pleased about it. But, I do also believe that, the experiences that we had, in our former years, or experiences that we may have even recently been through, they are learning curves for us, you know. We learn from them. I hope that we do learn from them. They're not supposed to subject us to be in bondage. In a way, they're supposed to teach us so that we can be free to move forward. So the different kind of shames that can, you know, that people may be ashamed of, it could be anything stemming from relationships, whether they were committed relationships or they were flings, whatever, you know. It could be the shame of not speaking to maybe a family member or not forgiving somebody for something that really maybe could have been sorted out, and you know, that person, they may no longer be here, so therefore there's shame attached to it. Or the shame could stem from, you know, judging somebody, maybe because of the way they speak, the way they look, you know. It could do with that. The shame also can come from the things that may have happened to somebody, and it wasn't within their control. So there was a violation and, you know, they weren't in control of that. And it has caused them to feel shame over the years. So as you can see, shame can spring from different kind of situations, you know, even from childhood. There are people that are still suffering with shame from their childhood, maybe because of things that was, you know, done to them. Now, one thing with, you know, some of the examples that I have given regarding where shame can stem from is that a person who goes through these situations, they end up blaming themselves. You know, they end up blaming themselves, or they can end up blaming themselves. Maybe not always, but, you know, there's a high percentage of people that do blame themselves, where they really, you know, the fault does not lay with them. It does not lie with them, but they do blame themselves for, you know, maybe what has taken place. Therefore, it leads on to more. In addition to shame, it can lead on to them not liking themselves, not loving themselves, and just self-destruction. So when it comes to like the things that, you know, a person has probably done themselves, you know, they've done it themselves, it was, you know, their own actions, and, you know, they were aware of the things that they were doing, but then later came to regret the things that they have done. I believe that, you know, everybody deserves a clean slate. Sometimes, you know, even though we feel like we know what we are doing, we do not make the best decisions. And then as we grow older and wiser, or we maybe get into a deeper relationship with God, or, you know, connect with God, we see that our ways before was not the way to go. And so I do believe that, you know, when you do come to a point of wanting change to happen in your life, then there has to be forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to let it go. In fact, you have to just, the things that you did in the past, it is just that. You have to be okay with leaving it in the past. Yes, I participated in this. Yes, I did that. But, you know, that was then, and this is now, and I'm ready to move forward with my life. Yes, I know, easier said than done. I can hear you say, Glenna, easier said than done. Oh, yes, it is easier said than done. It really is easier said than done, but it is possible. And it is also a process. And that is another word you're going to hear throughout my podcast, you know, process. Because things aren't done quickly. It's not just done by the snap of the fingers, you know. It would be great if it was, But then I believe there's so much more quality in things being done when there is a process in it and there is time for healing. And so when it comes to forgiving ourselves, or, you know, when it comes to accepting the things that were done in the past that no longer serves us today, then that is going to be a process. Now, through that process, you gain strength. How do you gain strength? Well, because number one, you're accepting the things that you have done, the things that, you know, you've been through. Number two, you have made the decision that, you know what, that's no longer me, and I want to move forward in life. Number three, you are ready to, you know, put on your new boots and to walk forward in something different, something that serves you better, something that is more suited to you, to your life, something that will progress you, something that you know, speaks more life. Okay, so in that you are strengthened during your process. It is a process of healing. So those open wounds that have, you know, that were there, you are able to help them to heal, because you have given those wounds the permission to close, those open wounds to close, to heal. And yes, the scars will be there, but guess what? You know, sometimes it's great to have reminders in life. You know, they are your wounds, the battles that you have been in. They are lessons that are learned so that you make better decisions as you go forward in life. When it comes to, you know, sensitive topics, situations that has happened to somebody where shame has attached to them, maybe it could have been through some form of abuse that happened to a person whilst they were younger, you know. Now that is a lot to carry. That is a lot to carry. That is a lot for a person to process. And again, anybody who has been through that situation or something similar, you know, they deserve also to feel renewed as well, you know. They really do. Now again, with, you know, with this, I would always suggest, if a person has gotten to the point of breaking point, where they feel like there is nothing left for them, then, you know, I would encourage that person to speak to somebody that they trust, and or get some professional help as well. Now in life, things can happen that are out of people's control. And the very fact that, you know, somebody is still standing after what they have been through is strength in itself. And they may not feel strong, but I'm telling you, to still be here is that person's cue in life that they are meant to be here, and that there is more life for them as well. Healing does need to come when, you know, there has been a form of trauma in, you know, somebody's life, whether it happened in the early stages, whatever stage throughout life. Trauma is trauma, and it needs to be dealt with. So as I had mentioned before, the thing with shame is that although, you know, it was the actions of somebody else that has caused another person to feel shamed, but the person, and I don't like to say victim, because I believe that everyone is a victor, you know, you're overcomer, you know, but that person that went through that terrible ordeal, they may blame themselves for what took place. Now, you've heard me mention about getting professional help, which is, which is a good thing to do. It really is. But you also know that I am a woman of faith as well. And some things, they just have to be taken to Jesus. They do. They really do. Because he can lift all burdens. You see, we're not meant to carry the weight of the burdens that we carry throughout life. And some of us, we hold on so dear to these burdens, and they are killing us, literally killing us. And so therefore, for me, as like I said, as a child of God, as a woman of faith, my burdens always has to be cast down and it has to be given to God, because that is where I get my relief from. So, I do encourage to cast your burdens upon God. And some people listening to this may say, listen, I didn't really come onto this podcast to hear that. No, maybe not. But going to a professional is one way, but going to Jesus is another way too. Absolutely. And people choose many different ways. People may choose a destructive way, which is something I totally don't want people to go down, that road of destruction, which could be, alcohol or drugs, and they make that their God that they go to, and it does nothing for them. It does not bring them no life. It takes away their life. So therefore, I'm about speaking life. And I said in I believe it was my first podcast, I make no apologies in speaking the name of Jesus, because I know that the great power that comes from his name and what he can do and what he does do in people's lives and in my life speaks volume. Okay, so I will encourage anybody, if you don't know Jesus, all it takes for you is just to, call out to him and say, test him. And I'm telling you, he will definitely show up. You see, I can say what I say because, like many people, I have had shame in my life, and I've had to take it to Jesus. That's who I took it to. So it wasn't to a professional, and there's no, not speaking against that. I do believe professionals are professional people to help. They are there to help people. They are there, that is their gift. That's their gift to the rest of the world, to help. And for some, it is to go straight to the throne room of God, straight to Jesus. And for me, that is what I did, to get rid of that shame so that I can go forward and gain more life. So as I've said before, I do encourage, anyone that is feeling a level of shame, that's feeling, shame in their life. If you know somebody that you trust, that won't judge you, then I would go and speak to them. I would go and speak to them. And you know what? You don't even need to tell them what it is. All you really need to say is that, I'm just dealing with something that has me feeling in a way. And I just need to release it. I need to let it go, You can test the waters even with that person as well. However way you choose to move forward, whether you speak to somebody, whether it's professional help, should I say, or whether it's, a loved one, a trusted one that you want to speak to. Nobody deserves to be living under the heavy foot of shame, okay? Nobody does. Like, this is what, listen, in life, things get renewed, Things get renewed. Things can be restored. And so can you. So can you. I also believe that, you have to be in agreement with yourself that you deserve better, and that you don't deserve to be feeling this way. And if there's any form of desire to do great things within your life, even if it's just a little bit, that needs to expand. And it needs to expand by being unearthed. And it's going to be unearthed once you start saying to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to live this way anymore. I'm not going to live in shame anymore. I'm not the first person to have shame attached to me, you know, and I'm not going to be the last person either, which is a shame, you know, that people have to walk around with, you know, feeling shame. But, you know, you can only do so much. Okay. And you have to start with yourself as well. You have to really start with yourself, because I'm telling you, you know, living in shame can also affect other people as well. It affects your relationship. It may affect your children as well. You may not see it, you may not realize it, but if you're walking under a level of shame, under the heavy foot of shame, if you are oppressed under the heavy foot of shame, it will steer your decisions and actions, and maybe not in the right way that it should go, because it's all based on your experiences where you have felt this shame, or where you feel this shame. When this shame, it can be alleviated off from you. And again, as I said, it needs your agreement that you will be released from this shame. Whether somebody else has made you feel shamed, you know, they brought the shame upon you, or even if you brought it upon yourself, you are able to break free from that shame. Shame is a feeling like any other feeling, okay? You know, and it's not all the time that somebody's going to feel happy. It's not all the time that somebody's going to feel angry. It's not all the time that somebody may feel jealous. But I'm telling you, with shame, it if you don't do anything about it, it will just stay there. It will just remain there, remain right there. And quite frankly, it needs to go. It really needs to go. Okay, because there are other times in life when you will feel shame. Like I gave the example at the beginning of this podcast, when you walk on the road and you accidentally trip over, or you might be somewhere and you spill a drink on somebody, or the drink gets spilled on you, you know, and then okay, shame. Okay, but then you kind of brush past that, you get over it. Well, I'm telling you, there isn't one form of shame that should remain on any single person, because it was an experience. Yes, it may have been one of the hardest experiences you have been through, but even more so, why it should not stop you from doing what you are called to do. It should not stop you from progressing. You know, these experiences, they give us life lessons as well. So how can we use shame to and turn it around to help us in life? As I said, you learn from certain experiences. You may even have been through something that you can heal. You can, you heal from it. And then you are able to help somebody else that is going through something similar, or that has been through something that somebody that is still in bondage. So we can always look at things differently, because I'm telling you, somebody's experience that they went through, although it was not good, it was not great, it caused them pain, but when they are able to overcome it, and then able to help somebody else in their life, what a blessing. What a blessing that is, you know. So you kind of turn what was meant for evil into good. It could even be down to saving somebody's life, because like I said, you know, if you're still here, you are purpose. Everybody's purpose to be here, okay? And so you're still here, but somebody else might not be that strong. They may not be that strong. That shame may take them all the way to the grave. God forbid. But then here comes you with your life experiences, with the things that you've been through, that you have overcome. Okay, you have the scars to show. You know what you're talking about. You know how it feels. And you are able to stop that person from ending up going to their grave. I'm telling you, it brings another meaning to life is so precious. You know, because we use that term when it comes to like time, you know, life is precious, use your time well and everything. And that is so true. That is so true. But life is precious as in, you know, somebody could just make the decision just like that. And they make that decision and then they're gone just like that. And so if we can intercede in some way, then, you know, that is a beautiful thing because a life is being saved. Now, some of my listeners may think, well, this has taken a bit of a different turn, but it really hasn't, you know, because this podcast is called Speaking More Life. So I have to keep it real, you know, and not just about, you know, the death of our finances or, you know, even our health or our relationships as well, but actually a person's actual life. There are people that do want to give up on their life. And so we are here to speak more life. That's what we want to see. We want people to live and to know that they can live life abundantly, and that the things that they go through, the experiences that they have, should not determine their space in the grave. I would also like to say, you know, because I'm just thinking now, my head is just going around. I was just thinking, like, as I had mentioned earlier on, I said about, you know, we've heard when people have said to us, you know, shame on you, you know, it might be a teacher that might have said, shame on you for doing that. And, you know, some of our actions, yes, we had to be told about our actions. They weren't good. But I'm here to say to you now that if anybody has placed shame on you and they continue to make you feel ashamed of things, your past experiences, the things that have happened in your life, I'm telling you something. No to the shame. No to their words. Okay? Now, the way I see it, okay, is the enemy, okay, brings up your past, tries to make you feel ashamed, and he's no friend of you. He's no friend of me. Okay, so, you know, if there is somebody that continues to do that and they get the delight out of doing it, can I just suggest that they're not your friend? Be careful who you surround yourself with as well. Be careful the people that are around you that want to remind you of the things that maybe you weren't proud of, you know, the things that, you know, you'd rather just kind of put behind and move on in your life, but yet they take delight in it and they'd rather get out, you know, a box of popcorn and just talk about it and enjoy and laugh about the things that happen in your life. They are not supposed to be in your life. As I've said, and I'll say it again, everybody deserves to walk in freedom, okay? And that includes the freedom of not feeling ashamed of the things that have taken place in our lives. All right, so I think for me, I'm going to wrap it up right there. I hope that you have been blessed. Yes, this was quite a deep one today, wasn't it? But, you know, when it comes to shame, it's something that people like to kind of hide under the carpet or not talk about. And I believe that these things we need to, like, bring them out, you know, bring them up to the surface, you know, and so that we can just kind of clean it off and just get rid of it as well. So we're about transformation, transforming our lives for the better. We are about speaking more life. And you have been listening to your personal life speaker, Glenna Oyajo. Thank you for checking in with me and chilling with me. I hope you enjoyed your hot drink, your tea that you made earlier, your coffee that you made earlier. And to the next time, we will speak more life. Take care.
Believe it, and you speak it. And if you think it and believe